Ladies and gentlemen, let's face the reality. The reality is that the 2022 general election was actually a contest between Uhuru and Ruto. And Ruto ended up humiliating Uhuru Kenyatta. As we speak, Uhuru Kenyatta is bowing his head in shame. But I'm looking at 2027 election, and I see the possibility of Uhuru Kenyatta turning tables and humiliating William Samoei Arap Ruto. Uhuru is going to have sweet revenge against Ruto in 2027. Why am I saying this? If you look at the 2022 contest closely, that contest was generally a contest between Uhuru and Ruto. And Ruto managed to win, number one, because Uhuru took his succession politics casually. He never really planned for it. He thought that because he had the system, because he was the president, and because Raila Odinga had the perceived numbers, that he was going to get a specific number from the mountain, then Raila Odinga was going to win. He took it casually. I never saw Uhuru Kenyatta campaigning seriously for Raila Odinga in the mountain, for example. Number two, Mount Kenya failed Uhuru Kenyatta to an extent that even as we speak, not a single county voted in favor of Raila Odinga. All the counties, including Kiambu, including where Uhuru voted. Some people say that, okay, the votes were stolen. Can votes be stolen even in your own backyard as a sitting president? So for me, that is one of the weaknesses. And number three, Uhuru Kenyatta, second term and first term were all attributed, there were failures which are attributed to the government. And you add the COVID and the rest. And William Ruto ensured that he made sure that he appeared as an outsider. So which meant all these burdens were then shifted to one man, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And because William Ruto projected himself as someone who was going to be the savior of the country, the Kikuyu nation were able to really rally around him. But let us look at 2027. If you look at 2027, we are going to witness a situation where Uhuru will have his sweet revenge. And I'm looking at it from American case study, where Donald Trump defeated the system, which is Obama, because Obama had fronted Hillary Clinton just the way Uhuru fronted Raila. Then Trump emerged against all odds. Then after that, Obama then got the opportunity to revenge. And that's exactly what is going to happen in this country. So in this video, I want to explain to you guys why I personally believe that Uhuru is definitely going to have his sweet revenge on William Samoei Arap Ruto. Before we do that, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So just press that thumbs up button. Now, let us get back to the main issue. And by the way, I'm open to coffee for those who normally do that. So I want to thank Gordon Odira, my friend. I received it. Thank you so much. I know this topic is really controversial. And there are those, like Babu Owino, and I'm going to do his analysis, who believes that Uhuru and Ruto are actually working as a team. So if you believe like that, then this video is not for you, for example. But again, there are those who support Ruto who believes that 2027, Ruto will still win. What I want you to do is just lend me your ears and listen to what I'm going to explain. And then there are those who supported Uhuru Kenyatta who are waiting for that sweet revenge to happen. The sad news is it might not really happen unless Uhuru will change. But why is there a chance that Uhuru can actually have his sweet revenge against Ruto? Number one, let us look at Kenyan politics. There is this story of tribal dominance, where Kikuyu, Kalenjin have always dominated the political space within the country. When William Ruto started his campaigns, he fashioned it as a dynasty versus hustler. That's how he was able to maneuver around the tribal dominance. But the truth of the matter is that Kenyans are now feeling the pinch. For example, if you look at the recent appointments by William Ruto, it's either Kikuyu, Kalenjin, then he appoints someone from the Somali community, then Kikuyu, Kalenjin, then he appoints someone from Loya, Kikuyu, Kalenjin, then. So Kenyans have started questioning whether they are actually part of this government. So which means Uhuru, if he's serious, can sponsor a propaganda, which he has the capacity, and he can actually lead in that campaign. Remember, he had actually begun it before the 2022 election, then he abandoned it along the way. So for me, because of the tribal dominance, William Ruto might have it rough. Because if, for example, I was just reading some appointments he made of around 4 or 5 people, then he has 2 Kalenjins, 2 Kikuyus, and 1 individual. If you look at the previous appointment, it was just the same. So it will be easy for Uhuru to rally other Kenyans because of that. Number 2 is the Mount Kenya factor. William Ruto is currently trying to revenge on Uhuru Kenyatta. One thing he's forgetting is that the support he has in the mountain is not because the mountain love him. William Ruto has the support in the mountain because the mountain hated Uhuru Kenyatta. Hated Raila Odinga. Which means today, if, for example, the mountain might decide, okay, kumbe Uhuru was right, let's go by what he's saying, they'll leave Ruto. If, for example, Uhuru will say, okay, we are not going to support Raila, me and Raila, we are going to support Kalonzo, for example, it will put Ruto in an awkward situation. Very awkward situation. So the mountain might actually tilt the equation against William Samoei Arap Ruto. And the truth of the matter is that I've been reading through the comments. Because William Ruto made so much promises to the mountain, and some of those promises are unrealistic, he's definitely going not to meet them. So he's going to have a bit of trouble in the mountain. As long as the mountain can sleep, problem for him. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua is not even making matters good for Ruto. He's worst sending matters for Ruto. So for me, because of the elusive, the support from the mountain, which is not stable on him, William Ruto should not think that Uhuru cannot have his sweet revenge. Uhuru is going to have his sweet revenge. Number 3, in my view, is the revenge factor. You know, Babu Wino, for example, is saying that Uhuru and Ruto are an item. I need to do analysis on that. But if you ask me, that is not true. The truth is William Ruto defeated Uhuru. Let's not sugarcoat things. Uhuru simply slept on the job. But the way Ruto is targeting Uhuru, is targeting the Kenyatta family, I don't think Uhuru will relax. He will use all his powers to try and revenge. And he's now wounded. You know, previously he was not wounded. There were those around Uhuru Kenyatta who was telling him, let us just work with Ruto. So they were comfortable with Ruto. Now, if they meet, they are saying, yenyewe, we should not have supported this guy. So Ruto is going to find Uhuru a bit ruthless in terms of an ability to spend the money, because Kenyatta family have the money. He went and targeted the mother. These guys are not going to let him just have his way easily like that. Number 4, in my view, is unity of purpose. There's one thing which I kept on explaining to you guys here on this channel, and you guys never saw it. Uhuru Kenyatta had a deep state, which he never really controlled. That deep state was deeply divided. There were those in the deep state who were supporting Ruto. They were like, Uhuru should support Ruto. You can tell them. Monica Juma, they've been retained in the current government. Then there were those who wanted a compromise candidate. They were pushing for Musalia Mudavadi. Those people, really, they were not for Raila. Then there were those who were saying, as cabinet, let us have one of our own. So for them, they were supporting not Raila, but they were supporting Kalonzo or Mudavadi. Then now there were those who were supporting Raila Odinga. Now those who were supporting Raila Odinga were few. So the deep state was divided. So they could not organize campaign in a way, because there were those who were with Uhuru, but they felt that working with Ruto is still just okay because we worked with them before. That supporting Raila Odinga was not the best thing. That Raila Odinga ametudanganya sana, he was going to leave, so they just took a backseat. Now the way they are being treated, the reality is now coming to them. The reality is now hitting Matiang'i. The reality is now hitting Karaja Kibicho. That they needed to fully have supported Raila Amolo Odinga. So that unity of purpose is going to bring all these guys together. And it will be easy for Uhuru to actually kick Ruto out of office. Number 5, in my view, is Kenya Kwanza failures. The way Jubilee failures led to Uhuru Kenyatta's downfall is the same way, without any further explanation. Kenya Kwanza government failures are going to bring William Ruto down. There is no doubt about that. And lastly, in my view, if you ask me, is the dynasty versus hustler. William Ruto campaigned on a platform of dynasty versus hustler. He was a hustler. The truth is, Kenyans are now not seeing that. There's nothing new is telling them. In fact, the narrative about this tax is to continue sustaining that narrative. But Kenyans, in the next 5 years, will tell Ruto that you've also joined the dynasty. There's nothing new you're going to tell us. So William Ruto cannot fashion his 2027 election on dynasty versus hustler. Again, if his government is going to fail, collateral damage for him. I don't know what you think, but for me, I'm looking at it, Uhuru is going to have a sweet revenge on Ruto, and there's nothing Ruto is going to do. William Ruto defeated him, he's going to defeat him. Bye-bye.